Shalom, my people. Shalom. Shalom, my people. Shalom to my people. I love you very much. I just come out here to give you a few information on some stuff that they trying to pull over our eyes, which we really need to see what they're doing to us and pay attention what they're doing to us because we don't, we'll never know. And they've been doing this for a while, of course, but as a people, we don't wake up and we don't see because see, they getting ready to have us. They call it Black History Month, which is the shortest month of the year, the coldest month of the year, and get have so much entertainment going on, you really don't even get a chance to celebrate. You got the football, the playoffs, the Super Bowl, all the award shows, but the so-called Negro don't even pay attention to that. I see what Moses said that black people are stiff-necked people. When it comes down to knowledge, we are the most ignorant people on the planet among all 18 nations because the other 17 nations know who they are. Well, I take that back. The 12 tribes of Israel are the most ignorant people out of the 18. The 12 tribes represent the 12 tribes of Israel. Judah, which is the nigger, Benjamin, which is West India, Levi, which is Haiti, Simeon, which is Dominican Republic, Zabulon, which is Panamanians, Ephraim, which is Puerto Rican, Manasseh, which is Cuban, Gad, which is North American Indian, Reuben, which is the Seminole Indian, Naphtali, which is the Argentino and Chile, and Asher, which is Colombia, Issachar, which is the Mexican. So you can't tell me when I make that statement that we are the most ignorant group of people on the planet because none of us care to know who we are. And when people tell us who we try to mean we are, we crazy, we all this kind of stuff. But then they'll believe they'll go join every other group. They had this one girl in the chat I was chatting back with. It was a group chat. We just talking about how disrespectful, how clamorous, how loud the women is, and how men are waking up now and they don't want these women no more. So the women are getting frustrated and mad now, so they're coming out with stuff. So now they're trying to attack this guy named Kevin Solomon, which is basically just telling what men really feel, but they don't even care about that because they are part of this group. And God said we are stiff-necked people. God said, uh, upon woman, sin came, and now we all must die. That's in Ezekiel. That's in Ecclesiasticus. I think it's 25:24, when it said, when a woman came, sin came, and with that, all of us must die. You go pull up for yourself. I'm not lying. And then it said in Ezekiel 16:44, as the mother is the daughter. So you got the generation of after you start getting to around about the 60s, after Martin Luther King came into the joint hand, and then the women feminist group came. From that point on to now, our women are disrespectful, they're loud, they're clamorous, and they're hard headed. And no, not just the black man, but they are the least likely liked nationality of women on the planet. But our women are so out of it that they don't care. So what happened is they done change the flow of everything because the woman has been so destructive on the planet now with her taxes that she done changed the history. But my thing is not about that. My thing is about this. We have to come back as the people. The man have to take over. You have to start running your household like a righteous man. Not like a fool, but a righteous man. And take your household back. The Lord said if they go not the way that you have them to go, give them a bill of divorce and lead them. That's in Ecclesiastes. That's the last, I don't know, that's the last verse in Ecclesiastes 25. Because we have to take our home back. So men, also the Bible said it's in, all this in Ecclesiastes 25. Don't quote me for the right scripture, but just read it and you'll see it. Ecclesiastes. Don't get caught up on a woman's beauty. Because then you come up on one beauty, then you fail to be a man like you're supposed to be. But we got to take our house back. We are part of the problem because guess what? We don't stand up. So nobody teaching our people nothing, so we done lost our way. So we getting ready to go into the you call February the in February Black History Month. I've been watching the news. They already talking about the Jewish, the Holocaust. I'm not gonna say nothing about the Holocaust. You do your own study research. Not about the Holocaust. But they celebrating the Holocaust. And they saying that it's up to their younger generation to keep it going so they'll never forget it. When it comes down to us, the 12 tribes, if we bring up our history about slavery, they quick to tell you to forget about it. And guess what? Our foolish, ignorant people will do just that and say we don't live in the past no more. Your past dictates your future. So if you don't know your past, you will never know your future. The same way they treat you in your past, they treat you now. Nothing has changed since my mama was born, her grandmama, her mama was born, her great grandmama was born, your mama, you still going through the same exact thing, but just in a different form. Now they do not have to rape our women voluntarily give themselves up to them. Now they do not have to denigrate our women voluntarily do that on the page, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. So our women is now talking about a man leaving with their private. The first thing you turn on social media is a woman leaving with her private. So we have lost a lot of things. And our ancestors, if they would see what's going on now, they would turn over in their grave. This is the Holocaust. This is the Black Holocaust. And see what they did to us was this. They screwed our mind over. They won't talk about this during Black History Month. You'll hear about the same people you've been hearing about is Martin Luther King in the march he did. They killed him, folks. But they praise him so much now, but they killed the man. But nobody even taking consideration that they killed it, even all the way up to the government. It had something to do with it. They can't block this because it's facts. Even they have came out and said that the government was involved with the assassination of Martin Luther King. So, but they tell you to forget this and remember Martin Luther King because he was passive. He was a passive man. So he wants you to march and get beat and throw it up. When, if you read the Bible, that's contrary to the Bible. Jesus was an austere man. They walked around with swords in their hand. King David said, I taught my hand for war. That was karate. He taught his hand for karate. We were doing karate back then. Don't let them think that Chinese made karate. You will. King David said, I taught my hand for war. That man taught his hand. If you read on the scripture, that man taught his hand for, he knew how to do karate. So we knew everything they don't tell you that for your history. They stick with Martin Luther King and y'all killed Martin Luther King. So how they tell you to follow him when they don't even follow him because they killed him? But they get you so blindsided that you won't listen. Tell them to teach you about this. This is in the Holocaust. This is a documented book with the Black Holocaust, with true manifestos that was on the ship about how they treated the so-called Negro. True manifestos, not made up. These are true handwritten manifestos that they kept on ships so they can know what they had on the ship. This is true. They can't block me for this because this is true. This is what they did to our people. I want you to take a crazy look. I want to show you. This is a man and a woman. They will hang them by their tongue, hang her by her tongue, cut her fetus out. Cut her fetus out. See that? That's the fetus of a baby. They cut it out. And they would chop the man private off and shoot him full of bullet holes. This is your history. But they tell you to forget your history. Deuteronomy 32:37 tell you not to forget your history. So why would you listen to them Instead of listen to the Bible, when the Bible tells you do not. He said, even if you don't know, ask your father. Or ask your elders. Deuteronomy 32:7. This is what they did to you folks. You don't never need to forget this. I'm looking at the news this morning. That's why I'm so frustrated. They talking about if they have a celebration online tonight, because COVID, so they having it online tonight. Where they're going to talk about their Holocaust. But they tell you not to talk about your Holocaust. Your Holocaust killed over 100 and something million people died during your Holocaust. They say 6 million of them had the Holocaust, but over 100 million of you, your ancestors died through the Atlantic slave trade on your Holocaust, and they got did this too. But they tell you to be quiet about them, but worship the Jewish Holocaust. That's fine. But what about you? What about your Holocaust? Why you walk around here like you never had one? Why are our people so ignorant? I don't understand why our people are so ignorant. Why we have to be so passive. Why we have to be so weak. Why we have to be so docile, but we're strong when it comes to killing one another. But when it's time for us to stand up and be a nation, we quiet. We kill each other. We don't care. But this is your history. This is how you was climbed in the ships. This is how you was in the bottom of the ships. On your period. Using the bathroom. Men pissing. Women using the bathroom. Men using the bathroom. Both of them, or 3 of them, throwing up, pissing, and using the bathroom to get rid of waste on each other. Stank like this here. And when you was pregnant, your baby died because they couldn't get to you. And then when they come finally clean the ship out once a month, they would take up all the and flush. They had holes in there just big enough for a grapefruit because they didn't want it too big because they didn't want you to try to escape. Little air trying to flow through it. It's 8 and 9 degrees come across the Atlantic coast. So here you go. All this stench in there. You smell all this stench. But they want you to forget about this. And you willing to forget about your history. Look at our women. You naked. Now, you would jump off a boat to keep from doing this. Now you're on Facebook doing it for free. Our women would die to keep their clothes on. But now you do it for free or a couple of dollars. That's the change in the mentality. The slave ship passage. It was all about money. This is you dying on the ship. They throwing you across the board. I'm giving you all pictures so you can see it with your eyes. This is the lady baby. Look at her with her baby. Dead. Some of them were forced. They said they would rather die at the sea than to have their freedom taken away. They won't show you this on Black History Month. I'm tired of them showing Martin Luther King on Black History Month. And everybody by now know the whole detail of Martin Luther King. I'm not going to get into it. Everybody know the whole detail about Martin Luther King. They will never tell you that. They don't never show it. You have to pull it up. That one of the last interviews he did. He said, I have led my people into a burning building because he found out or he realized that it was wrong what he was telling us. They got you looking up to a man instead of looking up to God. God never told us, nowhere in the book, the Bible, where he told us to join hands. As we did what he told them to do, God told us not to do. And we paid a price for it. Because before Martin Luther King, our women were still wearing dresses. Women didn't wear pants. They were still wearing dresses. Matter of fact, Even during slavery, our women were wearing dresses. So now the women talking about they was hot. You don't know what hot is until you was enslaved, doing what they did. And now you say you hot and don't want to follow the law, and you wear pants and all this kind of stuff here because these women were better than the women we have today. You talk about a modern woman, our modern woman today can never match up to these women here. What about the man? Guess what? The man can't either. But guess what? A woman will say she'll want a modern man. A man willing to be a modern man, but a woman won't. That's just the difference. Because the higher up it in a woman for making money, the less value a man becomes to her. But the higher up a man becoming money, the more value his family come to him because he want to take care of his family. He want to see his wife, his kids prosper. But the more money a woman make, the more she want to be independent. But these women was nothing like that. This is what we going through. They killed their baby. This woman was raped. She was 12 years old. This girl was 12 years old. She was raped repeatedly. Some of them raped so much that they died. Some of them got raped so much till they stopped talking. They couldn't speak. These women were tortured, raped. But now our women volunteer to date the other nations. You had some women, look at that, cramped in them ships. It's us. It's our Holocaust. I'm showing you pictures. It's our Holocaust, but they won't show you the Holocaust. They want to give you that likes Lester stuff they're trying to feed you about Martin Luther King. This is the real Holocaust right here. Look at this. Look at these women's and men's. Look how they stacked up in there. Look at that. I'm just randomly showing you pictures. You need to see this. These are actual drawings that were taken from a white man on the ship. He drew these things and wrote down these statements. It's actual stuff that they were saying and was doing. He was writing this stuff out. They would get drunk and do this to our women. Look what they would do. Look at that. You need to see this. Most of this stuff is going to be pictures. I just want you to get a visual look of what they did to you. But they tell you to forget your history. But they having a celebration tonight about the Holocaust, the Jewish Holocaust. But they tell you to forget your history, and guess what? The so-called Negroes will forget their history, don't care. They keep everything they do, they keep. Everything they do, they keep. Every holiday they got, it's a reflection of them. They have Thanksgiving every year for killing millions of Indians, and the Indians were you. Christopher Columbus lied so much, and now people woke up about him. They took it out of school. But guess what? Some places still celebrate it, and a nigger will too. But they tell you to forget about your history. Andrew Jackson, the Trails of Tears, he all over your school system. Every school in every state got a school named after Andrew Jackson. Look at that. They brought diseases over here, gave us herpes. They gave us all kinds of diseases because we didn't have that where we came from. We ran to the west coast of Africa, folks. You didn't come from Africa. You ran to the west coast of Africa during the 65 AD when Pompey entered Jerusalem, and 1 million Israelites ran into the west coast of Africa. That's why when you get to the west coast of Africa, it's called the Ivory Coast. That's where they came and snatched you up because the so-called Africans knew who you were and sold you. The movie Rwanda about the hotel, Rwanda Hotel, the reason why they was killing the Tutsis, called Tutsis had big nose. Tutsis was the leftover Hebrew Israelite with the so-called Negro that were left during the when they ran from the Roman prosecution. So they know who you are. I was talking to her back and forth on the chat, and this girl, I said, "You must be African." And guess what she said? I am. I said, I could tell because of your response. Because we not part. I said, I'm not African. I said, we not part of you. She said, I know. She said, I come from Maroon. I speak 2 different languages. She knew where she came from. She knew her African heritage. But ask the so-called nigger, he said he an African man. Ask him where he come from. Ask him what is his native language. He don't know. Them real Africans. You not. You are Hebrew Israelite. You are so-called Negro. But you don't never you don't care because you like fashion, colorful stuff. Why you think they don't deal with you? You be 40 years old. You might have seen one African in your neighborhood or one African in school. My question, where they go to school at? You don't see him at, I didn't see him at school. I didn't see him when we got on our bus and we playing around with him. I didn't see him at the movie theater. I didn't see him at our grocery store. They got their own grocery store. They got their own place with entertainment. The only one y'all know that's famous is what? You know, Manute Bowl. Manute Bowl got his money, went right back over to where he came from. You got Blackston, that comedian. He hang around y'all because he making money. But you don't never see him out in no store around you. He got land in Africa where he go at. We the only one that claim to be African, but don't know who we are, but the real Africans do. Look at this stuff here, man. I'm just showing you pictures of what this guy made. He did drawings of these pictures for us on the slave ship. Famine. They starved. This is famine. The guy drew these pictures, these actual real pictures. They starved to death. A famine is coming now. Pestilence and disease is coming. You living in that world now. You finna get ready to go through a new Holocaust, but you don't know it because you don't know about the old one. So you can't recognize that you're going through a new Holocaust. Our people are lost. They are docile. They are weak. They're scared of history because guess what? They're afraid to make changes right now. Because they would have to make changes right now. So they're not going to make them changes. They're willing to stay where they're at. That's crazy. Because guess what? They don't want to. They don't want to know. The so-called Muslim had you in the Arab slave trade. Why you think the most ignorant niggas out there want to be Arabs and you want to be Arabs, but they had you in slavery. Every nation, this is the Arab. You got to get this book, then you can read it. All I can do is show you a picture and tell you about it, but you need to get this book and read it for yourself. They beat you and force you to be a Muslim because what they would do is, you hear them old guys that's in the Mason. Part of their stuff is about when they greet each other, they say they travel across the desert. They was driven across the desert. And they would play soccer with your head. They would bury you. You done seen movie back in the day. We ain't know what the movie was. When you had them guys, we used to love the movie with the Arabs with the thing on their head, had the long gun like Sinbad. Wondering why they were burying Africans in the ground because they call you African even though you're not from Africa. They would bury you in the ground. You wonder why they would chop your head off. Sure that was you. We didn't know that they were making movies about us. You get them crying. You get them crying. You need to see this. There was actual picture being drew. There was drawn. A guy drew these pictures that was on the ship. Look at this. I'm showing this and talking to you, but I want you to see. Sometimes pictures are better than just a beating they would do to a man, a woman, beat him all night long, tie him up on the pole and just beat him and rape him in front of everybody. Beat him and rape in front of everybody, but they want you to forget your history. If you don't know your history, you don't know where you're going, you don't know what you're supposed to be. So they beat it at you and then told you if you try to do it, we'll kill you. They on the ship throwing up and peeping up. And you read some of this, some of the women thought they were gonna get better treatment. So instead of they volunteered, slept with everybody on the ship, all the white guys on the ship. They voluntarily did that. Thought they were gonna get better treatment. They soon found out that they didn't. They killed and beat them too, even raped them. They thought they good. They thought they could handle them because they wanted better treatment. They wanted better food. Right now today, you can't tell me our Negroes ain't like that now. Our women think they're gonna get better treatment, so they'll sleep with the boss, the CEO of the job. More than likely, he's white. And then they'll come home and treat their husband like dirt. So you wonder why you act the way you act because it was some of you on them ships. Look at this woman here, caged up. See how thick she is in this picture? If you read this, they blame the woman. So you always thought you were just thick. No. We Israelites been thick. But the slave owners blamed the woman for looking luxurious, what they call it. So they would rape them. They say it was their fault the way they were built, and they made the men lust at them. So the white guys raped them. All this in the book. So you think cause you thick you just started? Nah, it been here. This how they would examine you once you got here. They would check your bottom, check your breast, check your teeth and all that, because they want you to be able to produce babies. They would take the man and do him the same way. They would take the man and make sure he was straight, make sure everything was good on him, because the main jet was to produce babies. Just the men. This man, so he wasn't used to eating that slop food, so he was gonna try to protest. They banged his teeth out and made him eat. They banged his teeth out, stuck a funnel down his mouth, and made him eat. So women, you weren't on that ship alone. The men were right along with you. See, the men that tried to rebel, they shot him and killed him. But we around here killing each other. Our real enemies is them. But this is what they did to you. They broke you down as a human being. This is you. Look at the man. Look at the women. All us together. We hung in there. We got killed together. We got raped together. Not only did they rape the women, they raped the men. When you read it, you'll see it. Some of them old pedophiles, you see the image of them, they would rape the men too. Sister, you weren't alone. We need to come back together as a people. See that gag? The woman is the first teacher. If you teach your son, he argue back with you, he gonna argue back out with the teacher. If he disrespect you, he gonna disrespect the teacher. If he don't listen to you, he ain't gonna listen to the teacher. Cause the mother's the first line of defense. So what they did was, see that thing here? You couldn't rest your head, couldn't do nothing. Inside that mask right there is like a razor thing that went in your mouth. So if the woman would teach the kids how to speak our real language, it would cut their mouth out. They did this for generation to generation. So by the time they got to the generation they wanted, they didn't know how to speak Hebrew language. They spoke their language. That's what they would do to us. These the ones that died on the ship. That's what they would do to some of them. Wrap them up, throw them aboard. See, they got so used to the sharks. They got so used to the bodies being dumped over at a certain period of time. They knew when the ships would come through. It's like it was a natural feeding ground, so they would come every year at that time. Look at the men in chains. This is a woman hung by her tongue and her feet is cut out. Then they came along once they got you where you wanted. They gave you this image of Caesar Borgia. And if you go to Revelation 14, it describes Jesus right here. But this is here what they gave you. So you won't read the Bible and see this, but then when you read the Bible, get what we say. Color don't matter. If color didn't matter, they knew the Bible. Why did they give you this instead of giving you the proof, the real picture or the real description of him? But they gave you this description. If color don't matter, we good at saying color don't matter once we find out information because we are one of the docilest, weakest people out of the 12 tribes of Israel. And we're going to be like that until the Most High comes. Because God said 2/3 of the Negroes got to die. Or 2/3 of the 12 tribes got to die. And why we'll face the facts. That's what's going to happen because everybody don't want to be saved. Everybody don't want to be saved. A lot of them want to stay where they at. But when I guarantee you, turn on your TV, when February the 1st comes, they're going to give you Martin Luther King. They might give you Malcolm X. They're going to keep showing you this march. Lewis was one of the ones got bust across the head walking across that bridge. He died, bust across the head, knowing that he didn't accomplish nothing. From the time he was young, walking across the bridge, until the time he died, he accomplished nothing. Can't nobody go here and debate with me and tell me what you accomplished, because guess what? Now you don't have no voting rights. And your president can't save you. He don't want to save you. That man wrote so much stuff about you before he became a president, called you a predator, put you in prison, said he ain't want his children, but guess what? Y'all went down there and voted for because we so stupid. I have to give it to you straight. We so dumb. We so ignorant. We the most weak-minded people on the planet. And y'all go vote to them. Then they got what they got. Guess what they're going to do? They finna come out now and pressure you into go voting. The most powerful thing you can do is not vote. The most powerful thing of vote is not the powerful thing. Don't vote and see what happens. All black people don't vote, see what happens, because guess what? You done tried voting. Nothing happened. You still in the same boat. You still getting discriminated on the job. You still getting shot in the street. Karen still bothering you. The police still harassing you. You still being underpaid. You still are being discriminated against. Nothing has changed. Not even your mindset has changed. You still the same docile, weak person that your ancestors were from the 60s up to now. Yeah, you're going to come and you're going to name some people that did it, but guess what? They fighting for nothing. Because guess where you at? Even the one you claim to be somebody that did something, you don't even listen to them. Shalom, my people. Shalom, my people. We are lost as a people. We must get our mangoes back. The man must start leading his family. That's the biggest problem. We must stop letting these women rule over you. You must take control of your household and stand up and teach your kids their history. Because guess what a woman will say? I don't teach him about that. He got to go to school with him. But there are other people teaching their kids. You got people teaching their kids how to shoot at 12. Because when the race war comes, they going to know how to shoot a gun. You're going to know how to rap. Shalom, my people. Shalom, my people. I do this all I love. I promise you, I do this all I love. Shalom.